Maro Itoje has publicly distanced himself from controversial remarks made by Jim Ratcliffe about immigration, stating clearly that he disagrees with both the language and the sentiment expressed by the Manchester United co-owner. Speaking in the build-up to England's highly anticipated Six Nations clash with Scotland national rugby union team at Murrayfield, the England captain addressed Ratcliffe's recent comments during a media appearance with the BBC. The billionaire, whose investment in Manchester United F.C. comes through his company Ineos, had claimed in a Sky News interview that Great Britain had been colonized by immigrants. The statement sparked widespread backlash across political and sporting circles. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer described the comments as offensive and wrong, while Ratcliffe later apologized for causing offense, acknowledging that his wording had upset some people. However, he also maintained that there should be an open debate on immigration. Itoje, who leads England in one of the most fiercely contested fixtures in world rugby, made it clear that he did not share Ratcliffe's view. Inaccurate and the wrong thing to say. I disagree with the terminology and sentiments of what he said. Itoje said candidly, I do not believe that Great Britain has been colonized by immigrants. I think that's inaccurate and the wrong thing to say. His response was measured but firm, emphasizing both his pride in his English identity and his Nigerian heritage. I sit before you as a man who was born in North London, a very proud Londoner, very proud to have this English identity, very proud to play for England and to captain England. He said, for Itoje, representing England is not merely a professional milestone. It is deeply personal. Captaining the national side stands among the most significant achievements of his life. It's one of my greatest accomplishments, he added. Regardless of what I do for the rest of my life, this will be up there with one of the best things that has ever happened to me. At the same time, Itoje was equally clear about his connection to his family's roots, but I'm also of Nigerian descent, and I'm equally as proud of that heritage as well. His comments underscored the dual identity that many athletes in modern Britain embody, a combination of national pride and ancestral heritage, coexisting without contradiction. Itoje further criticized Ratcliffe's comments as very clumsy wording and suggested that the figures referenced in the original interview were factually inaccurate. Nevertheless, he acknowledged Ratcliffe's subsequent apology. I have read that he has apologized for his comments, and I think it is admirable when people realize they've messed up and apologize, Itoje said. So, I commend him for doing that. Leadership beyond the pitch. Itoje's willingness to address the issue highlights the broader responsibilities that come with captaining England. As one of the most recognizable figures in English rugby, his words carry weight far beyond the confines of the sport. The Six Nations Championship is an intense and emotionally charged tournament, and England's meeting with Scotland at Murrayfield, contested annually for the Calcutta Cup, is one of its most storied rivalries. Yet despite the magnitude of the occasion, Itoje did not shy away from discussing a sensitive political issue. His response reflected the calm authority that has characterized much of his career. Rather than escalating the controversy, he offered a reasoned perspective rooted in personal experience, but a return under emotional circumstances. The Scotland fixture also marks a significant moment for Itoje on a personal level. He returns to England's starting 15 after beginning their Six Nations opener against Wales among the replacements. England won that match convincingly 48-7 at Allianz Stadium, Twickenham. However, Itoje's preparation for the tournament had been shaped by profound personal loss that in December, his mother Florence passed away. Shortly thereafter, Itoje traveled to Nigeria to attend her funeral and ensure she was laid to rest in her ancestral home. Reflecting on that journey, Itoje spoke openly about the emotional impact. It's been incredibly sad, incredibly emotional, but all in all, I'm okay and taking each day as it comes, he said. The trip itself involved multiple stages from London to Lagos, then onward to Warri in Delta State, followed by a drive to the town where his family originates. My family are from Delta State, he explained. We had to catch another flight from Lagos to Warri. Then we drove to the town where my family originate from. The experience was deeply moving. It was deeply emotional. It was very sad, he said, but at the same time, it felt peaceful. It felt that it was the right thing to do to take my mother back to her ancestral home. Finding strength in the team environment in the aftermath of such a loss, returning to elite sport could have been daunting. Yet Itoje credits the England environment with helping him navigate the grieving process. Being back with the team was probably the best thing that could have happened, he revealed. Immersing himself in preparation for the Six Nations provided structure and support at a difficult time. Going straight into this environment with players I know so well and players who've been so supportive and welcoming and understanding, as well as the coaches and backroom staff, he said. All of them have been great. The camaraderie of international rugby, particularly during a tournament as demanding as the Six Nations, can offer both distraction and solidarity. For Itoje, the collective focus on performance has been a stabilizing influence. She will be sorely missed, he added quietly. Focus on Scotland with the off-field issues addressed and personal matters acknowledged. Attention now turns to the challenge awaiting England at Murrayfield. Matches between England and Scotland rarely lack intensity. The Calcutta Cup rivalry is steeped in history, and recent encounters have often produced dramatic contests. England will be keen to build on their dominant win over Wales, while Scotland will look to exploit home advantage. AS captain Itoje's role extends beyond line-out calls and defensive organization. He sets the emotional tone, particularly in hostile environments like Murrayfield. The combination of personal resilience and principled leadership he has demonstrated this week may well galvanize his teammates. That a broader conversation Itoje's remarks also contribute to a wider discussion about identity in modern Britain. His pride in both his English nationality and Nigerian heritage illustrates the complexity of contemporary national identity. Sport frequently serves as a stage for these conversations. Players with diverse backgrounds represent their countries at the highest level, embodying the multicultural fabric of modern society. By rejecting Ratcliffe's phrasing while acknowledging the value of open debate, Itoje struck a balance between disagreement and civility, a tone that contrasts sharply with the polarized discourse often seen in public life. Moving forward, Ratcliffe's apology may have tempered some criticism, but the episode underscores how remarks from high-profile figures can resonate far beyond their original context. For Itoje, however, the immediate priority remains rugby. England's ambitions in this year's Six Nations are clear. A strong performance in Edinburgh would reinforce their credentials as title contenders and sustain momentum following their emphatic victory over Wales. Amid the scrutiny and speculation, Itoje's composure stands out. He has navigated personal grief, national controversy, and the demands of elite sport with measured clarity. In doing so, he has reminded supporters that leadership is not only about performance on the pitch, but also about the values and perspective one brings to public life. As England prepare to face Scotland in one of rugby's most iconic fixtures, their captain's words this week may resonate just as strongly as any speech delivered in the dressing room. Pride in identity, respect for heritage, and the courage to speak thoughtfully when it matters most.